Somebody is looking at US as a choice, TOEFL is fine. Otherwise, people say don't take TOEFL. Is it a myth or is it a true?
There is no doubt, right? We take a lot of pride being associated to US as a destination. But what most of the people forget is I'm a test which has 100% acceptance in US, in Canada, in UK, in Ireland, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Germany, France for any English speaking course.
Okay.
TOEFL is accepted. And
your closest competitor is IELTS today actually.
Okay.
As a student, why I must choose TOEFL as my first choice?
see, the question is very valid. As a matter of principle, we do not. Now imagine, one test has human scoring, the other test has an AI and then a human to score it as well. Bringing best of both the worlds together, which one would you prefer? TOEFL is an English proficiency test. Checks you on listening, speaking, reading and writing. If your basics are in place, you practice the right format, nothing makes TOEFL difficult.
What does the student has to pay for a TOEFL today?
As of now,
வணக்கம் நேயர்களே, இன்னைக்கு நம்மளோட டாக்டர் ஹர்தர்ஷ் தீப் சிங் இணைஞ்சிருக்காரு. டைரக்டர் பிசினஸ் டெவலப்மெண்ட் ETS. He is actually majorly taking care of India market for TOEFL and GRE. Let's go ahead and hear why someone has to take TOEFL than IELTS. Instead of me talking about all these things, let's ask him why somebody is, the people who's aspiring to study abroad. If something benefits you, will you say no? Let's go and check with him in what way it benefits you. So thanks for joining our podcast.
welcome. Thank you for calling us.
My pleasure, actually. So, my biggest doubt is people always says TOEFL. Somebody is looking at US as a choice. TOEFL is fine. Otherwise, people say don't take TOEFL. Is it a myth or is it a true?
So thank you. You are actually diving into the deep end on the whole myths that surrounds our test. There is no doubt, right? We take a lot of pride being associated to US as a destination. But what most of the people forget is we are the most widely accepted English proficiency test in the world.
Okay.
We are accepted in over 13,000 institutes in 160 plus countries. That makes us the most widely accepted test. But still, we are associated largely to US because probably that's our home ground. ETS is headquartered in US, in Princeton, and that's how that affiliation comes into it. Otherwise, if I was to break this myth, I'm a test which has 100% acceptance in US, in Canada, in UK, in Ireland, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Germany, France for any English speaking course.
Okay.
TOEFL is accepted. And best part, we are also accepted, the same TOEFL IBT, right? Without any confusion of what other tests have.
Yeah.
The same test is accepted even for immigration purposes in Australia, New Zealand and Ireland.
Okay.
More to come. Keep watching us.
Okay, that's good. So, because one of the, claim you made is mostly accepted or widely accepted actually. So, can you just give us some data to say this actually? Because you listed down some of the countries which actually Indians look for it, and you say 100% of universities are for a visa purpose, it has been accepted actually.
100%.
So give us some kind of statistics actually. What made all these things to say that it is widely accepted actually?
Fair enough. So the parameter is TOEFL IBT is largely a test which the student takes when they are looking to study abroad.
Correct.
We are accepted in 13,000 plus institutions globally. Even our closest competitor claims about 11,500 plus.
Okay.
That's still about 1,500 less than what we are.
So your closest competitor, I'm assuming that it is IELTS actually.
Yeah, you are saying it.
Yeah.
The students can also Google it.
Okay.
I'll not call names here.
Yeah.
But we are more widely accepted than the most popular test in India, while we are the most widely accepted and the most reliable test.
Okay.
We are there for 6 decades.
Okay.
We have seen these markets move year on year, decade on decade for the last 60 years.
Okay.
Hence, we know what we are talking about, we know what we do, And we have an expertise when it comes to academics, right? Our test prepares you
Yeah.
for what you are to experience when you land up onshore in the institutions where you are to study.
Okay.
And that's why what we also firmly believe is that we are more relatable to what you're going to experience when you land up in the institute.
Okay. Okay. So the one of the claim which you made is most reliable actually.
Yeah.
So I mean, what does that is all about actually?
If there are 13,000 institutes globally which are accepting your score, does it not make the test reliable?
Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's where the claim comes from.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And this test has been there for 6 decades.
Hmm.
Imagine a test which was 4.5 hours long, evolved to a 3-hour long test.
Okay.
And then in 2023 became a 1.5, or rather 1 hour 56 minutes to be precise,
Okay.
almost 2 hours, a test.
Okay.
We have evolved. We understand our customers.
Okay.
Right?
So here I wanted to seriously, I mean, wanted to discuss a point. Okay.
Sure.
If somebody wanted to compare, okay, apple to apple, okay. I mean, your closest competitor is IELTS today, actually. Okay. If you have to tell me some few point as a student, why I must choose TOEFL as my first choice, actually, what are all those things?
Fair enough. See, the question is very valid. As a matter of principle, we do not de-sell our competitors. We all are in the space. We all are here to survive mutually, right? But when it comes to TOEFL as a test, why it should be preferred as a choice by the students, let's do a small role play, right? I'll ask you some questions as a student. You tell me what would you prefer.
Absolutely.
Rather than me telling why you should take a TOEFL, right? So, my first question. Would you prefer a 3-hour test or an under 2-hour test?
Undoubtedly. It is like, whichever is lesser, obviously I wanted to go for
Fair
it.
enough.
Provided I am not stuffing in the 3 hours in, doing it in 2 hours.
For sure. But we'll talk about all these things.
Yeah.
See, all the English proficiency test checks you on 4 skills of language, which is listening, speaking, reading, and writing.
Exactly.
Whether it is me, whether it is my competitor, or any of the other competitors, they are all checking you on these 4 skills.
Yeah.
We will talk about each section in detail. Let's start with reading.
Okay.
There is a test, and I'm not naming any of the tests because I don't want to color your image that you're talking to somebody from ETS. There's a test which asks you to read about 2 paragraphs, which is about 600 words.
Okay.
And there are 20 questions to answer.
Okay.
To do that, I give you 36 minutes.
Okay.
Then there's another test which has about 4 paragraphs, 40 to 42 questions.
Okay.
And you have to do that in 1 hour.
Okay.
Which one would you prefer?
Obviously the choice one, because number of question is lesser, almost the same amount of time, but number of question is lesser actually.
What if I say there is one test which would tell you that question number 1 is from paragraph 1, question number 2 is from paragraph 2, and then you have to find the context and give the answer because it is reading.
Yeah.
Right? We want to understand whether you can textualize it.
Okay.
The second thing that is checking you is you have to read through the whole passage to answer the questions.
Okay.
Which one would you prefer?
Obviously the number one, because my time is been focused on one particular thing rather than going through the entire,
Fair
summary.
enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And this is what the student thinks.
Yeah.
Let's talk about speaking section. Both the tests, and because you have asked me about IELTS, which one do you think the student prefer, pen on paper or the CDIs?
I mean, undoubtedly today our people are tech savvy. With pen and paper is physically somebody has been asked to correct it.
Yeah.
Rather, most of the student would love to do a computing one. Today is typing it easy rather than writing it actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, there's a test where a human scores.
Yeah.
There's a test where an AI and a human scores.
Okay.
Which one would you prefer?
Okay, to a greater extent, human means sometime it means bias. It may be good sometime. Sometime because humans sometime they may give it also.
Yeah.
We cannot say that actually. Being it is computer, sometime it strictly look for the right answer.
Yeah.
And margin of error will be lesser. Here it is both the way actually.
Absolutely. Now imagine one test has human scoring, the other test has an AI and then a human to score it as well, bringing best of both the worlds together. Which one would you prefer?
Obviously, probably the second one.
Where you have best of both the worlds.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the way the scoring and the testing happens. In one of the tests, You will be asked 4 questions.
Okay.
For each of the questions, you will have some hints, like you will be able to listen to a conversation, you will be able to read about it. You will get 30 seconds to prepare an answer and 1 minute to answer the question.
Okay.
4 questions, 1 minute each, is about 4 minutes that you have to speak.
Okay.
Now, we are actually, this is an integrated, right? This is more of an integrated task where you are reading, you are listening, and then you're speaking. That's what happens in the classroom.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you pick up a card, what comes, and you speak about it till the time you are stopped, and then there are cross questioning that happens. Which one, as a student, would you prefer?
Obviously, the first one, because
You know
it's
what is
easy.
to be done, there is clarity, and all those things.
Correct.
Fair enough. Let's move to the third section, which is writing.
Yeah.
2 questions, both the test. No independent task in one test.
Okay.
You have, uh, you know, something to read, something to listen, and then answer. There's the second task, which is academic discussion.
Okay.
Again, in line with what you do there.
Okay.
In one thing, you have to write about 300 words in 29 minutes.
Okay.
The other thing, you have to write 600 words. There are independent tasks, so you have to ideate. You have to put them down, and you have to write about 600 words or 400 words, whatever it may be.
Okay.
Here, if you are able to express yourself in lesser word, no negative marking, you can't exceed and do the other things in the other test, as you all know. Which one would you prefer?
Obviously, because it's lesser words. And you say there is no negative marking even if they have 200, 250. So the best choice is that actually.
Fair enough. So whatever you have chosen so far is basically what aligns to TOEFL.
Okay.
It's an under 2 hour test. It's a single sit test. You finish the test from start to beginning in one day.
Okay.
You have 2 passages, 20 questions to answer, 36 minutes.
Okay.
For each question, you know which paragraph the answer is. You have to only look at that paragraph and contextualize basis the question. There are 4 tasks in speaking. For each task, you have something to read, something to listen and answer. There's one independent task. And then in the writing, 2 questions, 29 minutes. 20 minutes for the first question where you have to write 200 words, about 100 plus words in the second question, which is academic discussion, to do about in 9 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
Total, it takes 1 hour 56 minutes to complete the test.
Okay.
And that's how TOEFL is.
Okay.
So now tell me, if we are supporting you with all these things, why would you not take a TOEFL, which is, again, I'm saying, more relevant?
Okay.
Because it prepares you how the classroom is going to be, academic discussions, integrated tasks, note making and listening, what you will do actually when you land up in the classroom.
I have a question here actually.
Yeah.
Okay. If somebody wanted to seriously, because the myth is it is difficult or a tough. If somebody wanted to experience it, okay, and before even they come to a conclusion, this is what I wanted to do. So what is the option they have actually?
And thank you for calling it a myth. Before we even started, you have actually nailed it. It is a myth, guys. It is purely a myth. TOEFL is an English proficiency test.
Yeah.
Checks you on listening, speaking, reading, and writing. If your basics are in place, you practice the right format, nothing makes TOEFL difficult.
Okay. Okay.
Rather, I want to put some statistics in place.
Yeah.
An average Indian scores 93 out of 120 in TOEFL.
Okay.
That's the average score of an Indian testing.
Okay. Okay.
Do we still believe it is difficult?
That's good. That's a pretty good mark.
Right? And to your second point, how can I experience this? TOEFL is still unknown, right?
Yeah.
We have something called as a sampler,
Okay.
which is available on our platform called as TOEFL Test Ready.
Okay.
You go there, create your ETS ID. You can take a full length mock test. You can create an 8-week planner.
Okay.
You can also take a 40-minute sampler
Okay.
to experience the test.
Okay.
Recently, to make sure people experience and understand TOEFL better, we also launched TOEFL Beginner's Guide.
Okay.
It's a 250 worth rupees of book,
Okay.
which we are giving to any student, not those who register for the test.
Okay.
Any student who aspires to go abroad and wants to know TOEFL better
Okay.
can walk into any of our TOEFL Market Ambassador's office and can collect a copy of their own.
Oh, okay. That's great. That's great.
And we have about 3,000 plus TOEFL Market Ambassadors
Oh, that's great.
across India.
Okay.
End up to any office, ask for your free copy, and they will be happy to assist you.
That's great. That's great. Okay. There's one point which is, really bother the student is the price or the tuition. I mean, exam fees actually. Okay. So, what is your exam fees? I mean, compared to the nearest one is, I mean, IELTS is somewhere around 17,500. As on today, I don't know about yesterday or tomorrow. As on today is roughly about 17,500.
Yeah.
So, what is the student has to pay for a TOEFL today?
So again, we are competitive. Rather, what if I say we are 600 rupees more economical as compared to IELTS? Our test MRP is 16,900 rupees.
Okay.
We do run campaigns time in and time out,
Okay.
which is providing discount to the test takers.
Okay.
As of now, our TOEFL market ambassadors have their own discount codes. The student can reach out to them, use their code to register, and they get a 1,500 rupees off on the MRP. So the price comes down to 15,400
400. Yeah.
per test.
Okay.
So there is enough and more that a student can take advantage of when taking TOEFL.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Okay.
So we are not difficult. We
Yeah.
are most widely accepted. We are relatable. We are relevant. We are reliable. At the same time, we are not expensive.
Student, if we are looking at studying abroad, if you're either for undergraduate or master, now you know 200% why you must look at TOEFL as a choice, as a first choice. It's not me, it is coming from the person who handles the market for in India actually. Okay, now you know what is the reason behind why you must, before you coming to a conclusion which university you are going it, first let's decide which English language qualification exam you are going to take it actually. Still, if you have a doubt, go ahead and comment. Let me help you out actually. Thank you. Thanks for joining it. Such a wonderful information actually. I'm sure the lot of myths is being broken in this 15-20 minutes conversation. I'm sure it will be really beneficial for every student who's going through the podcast. Thank you so much actually.
My last message to the audience.
Please.
Before you decide which exam you want to take, experience TOEFL. Trust me, you will not be disappointed to invest those 40 minutes to experience this test.
That's wonderful, actually. Yeah. I mean, unless until you experience it, you will not know what kind of benefits it's going to give it you. Go ahead and experience yourself, actually. Thank you.
Thank you.